Right, I'm here with my guy Lee. Match day for the Champions League. Arsenal have gone down to Milan 1-0. Your initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, initial thoughts. Disappointed with the result. Disappointed with the penalty decision. Performance so much better than the game against Newcastle. So I think you've got to take the positives from it today. I don't think we deserve to lose that game, but certainly we got into some areas. Crossing was we didn't really cross as well as what we should have done. And I have to say, Inter Milan. Forget about the possession-based thing. They allowed us to have that, but I take the credit that they defended and retreated, but they defended very, very well. And we just didn't have the guile, the little bit of creativity to break that down.
Yeah, you're right in saying that. I mean, if you look at the stats of the game, we had a lot more possession. I think it's something like 60-odd% possession we had to their 36. We also had 20 shots on goal to their 6 or 7. And surprisingly, we had 46 crosses into their box. I wasn't able to produce anything. Now, you've just hinted at the sort of lack of guile and creativity. Is that becoming a concern for you now?
Yeah, it is. I think we're losing games of football. We're not creating as many chances as we should, even though we've created a few today. Been a bit unlucky with a few, but whatever the system that Mikel's trying to do at this moment in time is not working. Havertz is playing midfield. He brought Jesus on at half-time. I thought that was bold, but in hindsight, we can all turn around and go, that was the wrong decision now because we didn't get the goal. For me, it would have been Havertz staying at top and brought on Wanyeri. But, he went with Jesus. I didn't think it was a bad call. I thought it was a positive one, where when you look back at Newcastle, there was no positive substitution, and it was.
I'm with you on that. I would say, like you, I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, to see him make the change at half-time. But by the same token, I was a little bit surprised, stroke disappointed that he then waited until the 80th minute to make another change. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and then when you see what Wanyeri done with the turn and shot, you think to yourself, why don't you bring him on a little bit earlier? I slightly understand why he would done it today because the momentum was with us. We looked like we might get something, but it was tough because we wasn't playing bad, Laurie. Do you know what I mean? Like against Newcastle, it's obvious. We can make changes because everybody's playing bad. It was a very, very difficult one today where I was thinking that we weren't that bad. The team was playing okay. We had the momentum. So if you sometimes you can bring a sub on and you can lose momentum. So I get why I didn't, but then, to do it 5 minutes from the end or whatever it was, why do it? You might as well keep going to the end. So I get what you're saying from there. I felt that it was a positive thing that he made the substitute at half-time. Don't know if it was the right one. Hindsight probably tells you it wasn't. But I felt in the second half, they defended well, but I don't think Saka and Martinelli done enough. Sometimes you've got to get to the byline and cut those crosses back there. There was a couple of decision making. I think I can't remember who it was that went through. Martinelli was it, or something could have cut it back to Havertz. And there was a couple of incidents like that, wrong decision in the wrong in the final third, and that is where you need those key players.
Yep, agreed. Let's talk penalties because I think that game was decided on 2 penalty decisions. One that we could have had that we didn't get. Both incidents actually involved Mikel Mourinho. So there was a penalty shout that Arsenal thought they had for what looked like a right hand to the back of the head. Sort of Daniel Dubois-esque on Mourinho. What do you think? Do you think we should have had something out of that?
It's a penalty, isn't it? He doesn't get the ball. He clatters into that. I actually called it straight away. I said that could be a penalty, and when you look at it, it is a penalty. But do they go on the ref's call because he's not give it? I don't know, but VAR should look at that, and I believe that they did, and they didn't think it was a penalty. So I'd like to know why they didn't think it was a penalty.
I think he may have taken a bit of the ball, but he cleaned him out. There's no doubt about that.
Cleaned him out, you know what I mean? And so that's it. So it's it's a penalty. It's a penalty. I don't care what anybody says. It's a penalty, but you don't get it. That's what happens when things are not going quite well for you. You don't get those sort of decisions.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say the same thing. And by the same token, listen, the penalty decision that went against us, I can see why the referee gave it. I did think it was a bit harsh though, because it was at such short range. The ball came at him relatively quickly. He couldn't really get his hand out the way.
No, like, it's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. I think like in Europe, it is a penalty, Dad. I know that sounds silly. Like we had one at Shakhtar, you know, when no one in the ground, you know, called it, not one player, and they give a penalty, like, you know. And I looked at that and I said, that ain't a penalty, that's harsh. You know, that one today's even harsher because it's even closer. But it's hit his hand, and I don't see how he can get out of the way of it. And it's unnatural, is it? Well, anybody that tries to kick a ball like that way, you know, your arm's going to naturally come back. So, listen, when things are going for you, you get those sort of results and little penalties and all that. But when it's not going for you, it's not going for you. And, you know, like Havertz had a shot at the end there. It's the inside of his leg and goes the other side of a goal. When things are going for you, it goes in. You just got to carry on working hard, getting through it. But listen, we've lost today. I'll tell you what, I feel more confident after seeing that performance than what I did on Saturday. You know, there's a definite improvement. I thought we played well today. I don't think you're looking at everybody. I thought defensively we played well. Really limited them. What did Raya have to do? They hit the bar in the first minute, which they probably should have scored from. They had a good, decent first 10 minutes, but you expect that. We rode the storm. And then after that, I thought we defended really, really well. Didn't cause us any sort of problems. We was on the front foot. I felt that we was looking comfortable, and you know, we was all saying that this, you know, I think we were going to go and get a goal in a minute, and then bosh, right on half time, right when it weren't needed, they get that given to them, and then we're up against it. The one thing I will be disappointed is that's the second game now, third game if you want to go into the Bournemouth game as well, where we've gone a goal down and we've not scored. That's three. You know, league game, like, well, not 3 league games, 2 league games and a Champions League game. They're the big competitions,
of course,
and we haven't scored a goal. So there's a problem there, Laurie. There's a problem.
Definitely. I was going to reference that because obviously we've got a massive game coming up at the weekend against Chelsea away from home. Potentially it could be a very difficult game, and I would have to say that despite the performance being better today, there were still some concerns there. So, for example, me watching the game tonight, I thought. You're right, it was a better performance, a bit more industry, a bit more intensity, but I still felt we were a little bit, how can I put it, a little bit predictable in our build-up. I think until Wanyeri took that shot right at the end there, that he was the only player to have a shot outside the box in the whole game. And things like that, you know what I mean?
Just things like, I agree with you, like, you know, what Wanyeri does is what he done, he can turn around and beat a player. Sometimes when teams are playing that low block, pass, they're happy with that. You play in front of us. But when you get someone that's prepared to do that turn and good enough to do that turn, it opens up things, you know. And I just think now, you know, it's either Odegaard or him that plays on Sunday against Chelsea, and it's Trossard that would miss out. Trossard done well today, but he doesn't create. Yeah. In saying that, he did play a little pass to Havertz when the ball went across the goal, which was unlucky. You know, we had one off the line. We done it. There was some things today that I was a lot happier with, but I'm with you on that. I think at times, you know, it's like playing a game of chess on a football pitch. You know, sometimes you need something a little bit more, something different. And Wanyeri has that. Obviously, Odegaard has that. Like, you know what I mean? I can't see what 3 minutes was for him, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I must say I was a little disappointed he didn't get more minutes, to be honest. But listen, I'm trying not to end on a negative, so give me some positives for Sunday. I mean, obviously it'll be a different type of game. This was a lot more cagey, a bit more cat and mouse. I think Chelsea will be high intensity, London derby, you know what I mean, Super Sunday. Do you think that'll make a difference?
Yeah, and I think the positive is that won't be given as a penalty. Mind you, last season they got a dodgy penalty from an handball. Do you remember it was Saliba, like, you know? So
I'm glad that you're so positive about the refs, because I'm
No,
not.
but you never know with the refs, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I think the positive is, for me today, was the performance. I thought defensively we looked good. That was chalk and cheese from Newcastle, you know what I mean? And I'll be really brutal about it. They're a better team than Newcastle. When we've put on a better show today, I think we was better than their performance against Bournemouth. So there were little pluses today, I felt like. I felt also, you know, the Martinelli played a lot better today, like, you know, which was a good thing for us, like, you know. I felt that Thomas Partey was very, very good in the midfield again, like, you know, getting consistently really good. And I thought that that's the defence that now sticks together, like, and I if you look at it today, Inter Milan didn't really open us up too much, you know. So I think that they're the positives. Obviously, the negatives is that we haven't won again,
and we haven't scored again.
And we haven't scored again, of course. That's their luck. But if I'm Mikel now, I would be in that dressing room going, look, let's don't beat ourselves up about it. Don't beat yourself up as a supporter now, like, you know what I mean. Get behind the team against Chelsea, because if we play like that and we don't win, the title's over. We know that, like. So it's all on the line. We know what we've got to do. We've got to go there, defend properly. And when we get our chances, whether it be, it's not necessarily, Laurie, scoring the goals. It's doing the right decision, the right cross, getting into the right position. And there were times today I didn't think that we'd done that. There was the wrong option in that final third. But for me, listen, there was people saying that, you know, we could get trounced 3 or 4-0 today and everything like that. It wasn't that game. We've gone to the San Siro and dominated. I will say, people will say, oh, well, they let us do that, but we still forced them back, whether when they scored and whatever, and they was hanging on at the end there, like, you know. I do think that it does cry, like, I think does cry out that we do need a striker, you know, in these big moments, big games, you know, like if you're playing Havertz where you played him today, where's that centre forward? I think that we're missing that today, because I think that even if you're going to play Havertz in that role that he played today, if you've got a centre forward, I think that you've got 2 big fellas going in for the ball and making things happen. Like, you know, it was a bit too much reliant on that. So, but listen, I think at the end of the day, performance today was a lot better. And if we play like that, things will change.
There you have it. Well said, Lee.
Thank
I'm
you very
sure
much.
the manager will probably bring you in for a team
she'll
talk
bring me in
before
for
the
a
game.